Hi there, it's March 29th and we're continuing our progress through the good news of Luke. We're in chapter 8, we're reading from verses 22 to 39. There are two miracles in this reading today. The first one, we find the disciples getting into a boat and crossing the lake with Jesus. While he's in the boat, Jesus falls asleep, not surprisingly considering all the work he's doing, and it shows his humanity in that he gets tired and he has to sleep. But while he's asleep, the storm comes up on the lake, and storms can come up very quickly on Lake Galilee, and it threatens to overwhelm the boat. It threatens to flood the boat and to sink them. And so the disciples go to Jesus and they wake him up and they say, "Lord, are you not worried that we're going to sink? We're perishing. Help us." And Jesus stands up and just speaks to the sea and says, "Peace, be still." And then he says to them, "Where's your faith gone? Do you not have faith?" And they are amazed that Jesus has power over the wind and waves. This is Luke showing us that Jesus is the Lord of nature, but also encouraging faith. How can anything happen to this boat where Jesus, who is the master of heaven and earth, lies? And they come to the other side of the lake, and the second of the miracles of this chapter, this reading today, come. And he's in the opposite side of the lake to Galilee, over in Gadara. And in Gadara they meet a man who is he's possessed, he's taken over by another power. It's more than just a mental illness, this, because it has a spiritual element to it, because as he comes, the power inside him is crying out, "What have we to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" And that indicates that there's a spiritual thing going on here, recognition that Jesus is who he says he is, who even the demons know he is. This man is unable to be bound. He has superhuman strength, supernatural strength, but he is falling down before Jesus, and Jesus casts out the spirits. And before he does that, he asks the name of the spirit, and they say, "We're legion because we're many." And these spirits then ask permission to go into a herd of pigs which are grazing nearby, and Jesus gives them permission, so they go, and the whole herd of pigs go over the cliff. Then the people around, or the swine herds, go and tell the village what's happened, and the people of the village come, and rather than being amazed when they see the demoniac, when they see the man who's been possessed sitting there and is clothed and in his right mind, rather than being amazed and overjoyed, they are afraid and they want Jesus to go away. They tell him to go. And unfortunately, this sometimes is the reaction of people to the power of God and to what he does. They don't want to have anything more to do with it. They just want to hide away in their ordinary lives. But Jesus tells the man who wants to follow him, he says, "Go and tell what's happened to you." And so the man actually goes, the demoniac man goes, and he is the living testimony of the grace of God to be able to release and to set free. And so he carries the good news. They may have Jesus depart, but the man himself has the indelible testimony of what God's done for him. It's important that we remember that God has power over nature. He has power over the enemy. There is nothing that can rock our God. There's nothing that can rock him in his kingdom. Let us not be like the disciples and doubting Jesus has the power to do this, but let's trust him today and every day. Have a very good March 29th.